Since it's about halfway through the year now and I've got a pretty solid investment portfolio going, today I want to talk about what I think are the best investments of 2021 for the next year and what I've invested in specifically and why I bought them. So if you do enjoy, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new so you don't miss out on any new CSGO investing content. And just before we get into it, let's talk about our sponsor, Tradeit, the best trading site out there to get the full price for your skins. They have a stacked inventory with anything that you're looking for and prices much better than competitors. Like for example, look at my butterfly knife price on the competitor site, only $385. Well, on Tradeit I can get it for $414. Also, if you click that link at the top of the description or in the pinned comment, if you're a first-time user, you get a 50-cent bonus on a trade of $10 or more. So easy money and a great way to get new skins and the best prices out there, so be sure to check out tradeit.gg today. But for now, let's get right into the video. So first of all, let's cover some of the old operation skins / old collection skins that I have, starting with the M4A1 Hot Rod. I started with this because it's actually a skin I got for a really good deal on a third-party site. I partially bought it for that reason, but also since it's from the Chop Shop collection, which got removed from the game quite a while ago. It hasn't been too insane of a trend in price recently. We'll talk about some skins that have been a lot later, but since I could sell it right now for $30 cash more than I bought it for, it's a skin that I plan to hold on to probably until the new operation comes around, since it'll have a big spike around then, which we'll also get into later, and then probably sell it to buy some more skins from those collections. So I start with this skin because it shows that not everything you own you need to sit on forever. Don't be afraid to constantly switch stuff out if you feel like you found a better investment or have a better reason to trade it. And with that in mind, let's go on to our next skin, a factory new .002 Glock Fade with some pretty solid stickers on it. I actually just recently picked this thing up like 2 days ago from Tradeit because it was listed at a really good price. Maybe I lost a few bucks on Tradeit since obviously the site needs to make their money, but I did trade my souvenir knight for it along with AK Fire Serpent field tested. But I think the Glock Fade is a great long-term skin, and I already made a pretty decent amount of money from my Fire Serpent since I owned it from like 3 months ago before it went through a pretty good spike in price. So as you can see by the price trend, it's just starting to dip down off a huge price spike, most likely because whenever a new operation starts or ends, all these skins from the old collections just have a huge increase in price because people realize they're getting more and more rare as Valve continues not to reuse them. Personally, I just think this skin along with other Operation Collection skins are great long-term investments, and I'm more than comfortable holding till the next operation starts, which ideally is going to cause another big price and spike for them. And I think the Glock Fade is going to provide a much better return than something like a Fire Serpent or a Souvenir Knight would. There just simply isn't really a huge market for Souvenir Knights compared to old Operation skins, but I'll definitely check back in a year to see how much of a difference this trade has actually made me, but I do see a great future for the Glock Fade. Sick looking skin, tons of people want it, and this one specifically has a pretty decent float. I'm sure I could get a few extra bucks for it if I decide to be patient when I sell it, along with the stickers as well. So a pretty solid pickup. I did get lucky finding something like this, but I do think overall I'm not going to sell it based on that float or those stickers. I think it's just going to have a huge spike in price. Definitely a year from now, I'll think it'll probably be worth like $2,500, $3K at least like $500 more than I bought it for, I would hope. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see. The next set of skins I'm going to be going into, I'm just going to kind of group into one thing since I bought all of them for pretty much the same reason. It's going to be starting with the Op Fade, 5.7 Berries and Cherries, UMP Crime Scene, M4 Blue Phosphor, and Op Silk Tiger. All skins from either the Havoc collection or the Control collection, both from the most recent Operation Broken Fang. I've said a million times before, I'm a huge supporter in these Operation skins and think they can do very well in the future, and I think we'll see the best results the next time a new operation comes around. So I plan on holding until at least then, since I don't really think there's going to be any big investments until the next operation comes around, excluding the major, which I'll get a bit more into in a bit. Like, let's start off by looking at something like the MP9 Wild Lily from the St. Mark collection to compare to Operation skins nowadays. So the MP9 Wild Lily was from the St. Mark collection, which was from Shattered Web, and this thing started at $30 on the Steam market. Wasn't necessarily exponentially increasing. It kind of did at the beginning of the operation and throughout most of it, as people realized, hey, these things are kind of really rare and hard to get, since the way you got Shattered Web stars was just by completing missions, and then you had a chance to get an operation drop from one of those. Well, with Broken Fang, you could just select whatever you want, which caused a pretty decent increase in supply for a lot of the operation skins this time around, which we'll also get into a bit later. But the MP9 Wild Lily did go through some rough patches after the operation ended, but started off pretty well, and then just took off to the moon when Operation Broken Fang dropped, and people realized these things weren't possible to get anymore as the collections weren't being released again. But once again, since the way drops work in Shattered Web were different than Broken Fang, you might be thinking this only happened because the skins were way more limited in Shattered Web and they won't happen this time around. But the thing is, that's not necessarily true. Per CSGO float, there's around 11,000 MP9 Wild Lilies, which seems like a lot for a pink rarity skin in an operation, but the Op Silk Tiger is a skin with the same amount of supply. But the thing is, there is skins with more in supply, like the M4 Blue Phosphor, which has about double as much as the Wild Lily. So with certain skins from the Operation collections this time around, we might not see as big of spikes since there is so much more in supply, but we will definitely see spikes if the new Operation doesn't contain the same collections, which it shouldn't. But you could check all the supplies and stuff on CSGO Float. They do a good job of showing you how many items are owned, so it can really help out with investing, and based on that, can kind of lean you towards showing that something like the Op Silk Tiger may very well perform a lot better than something like the M4 Blue Phosphor. So that's kind of all the skins I really own in my inventory right now, but I'll go over some of the random stuff I own as well, just because why not. Starting with the ESL1 Cologne 2014 Challengers capsule. I always like owning a sticker capsule like this because, as you can see by the price trend, they sometimes just have random huge surges in prices. But this capsule just came off one, so it's another item that I'm gonna be patient with. The stickers in it are kinda garbage, but it's definitely got some room to grow in my eyes, but something I'm more than willing to sell probably when the next major comes around, so I can buy some Legends capsules to resell a few weeks after they go on sale. I also own over 2,000 CS20 cases that I bought at around 10 cents each right after the non-prime update dropped. I also plan on holding these for a really long time, not making the same mistake I made with the breakout cases, which I sold at like 80 cents and they hit something like $3 a couple days ago. I've made plenty of videos about these things already, so I don't have too much to say about them. But the final thing I really have in my inventory right now is RMR stickers. I've got somewhere around 800 of these. They're a mix of all of the hollows, papers, foils, and golds. Probably just gonna sell most of these except the golds before the next major comes around to stock up on legend capsules to resell, and then put that money into something like new operation collections when they drop as well, if I can get them at a good price, because I want to get those things as soon as they drop when people are selling them for cheap and don't really know what price to base them on, as based on past trends, it seems that getting operation collection skins earlier is much better than getting them later. So it's always good to be prepared for stuff like that. Having money in your Steam wallet is good, since right when an operation drops, skins like that aren't going to be listed on third-party sites as well. So that pretty much wraps up my plan for now. Hopefully this gives you a bit of an idea on how I think about and handle my investments, and can help out with yours as well. Always have a plan on when you want to sell roughly, because making money is never a bad thing. Even if you're missing out by selling one investment, you can potentially make a lot more by turning that investment into another one, and it could make you a lot more profit, which is why I am so hype on the new operation collections that hopefully come out maybe early next year. I hope Valve releases a new operation early next year. That would be ideal, but don't be afraid to move your money around. But besides all that, as per usual, be sure to subscribe to the channel if you did enjoy this video and don't want to miss out on any CSGO investing tips, and check out the homies over at Trade It as well. Maybe you'll find yourself some sick skin like the Glock Fade I found, or just, get some different skins. It's always nice to switch things up. But for now, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.